first let us understand uh, entrepreneurial mindset. And in our coach study guide, purposely we have stated few biases. Why? Because that gives you a tremendous head start in understanding entrepreneur, right? So the first bias, what our coach study guide mentions, is the confirmation bias, right? Again, these see, understand one thing, because I'm not going to now repeat it. It is not necessarily that 100% of the entrepreneurs will have the 100% of the biases, right? But the propensity of this particular bias is much higher with the entrepreneur. So I'm going to talk about some 4 or 5 biases which are majorly found in entrepreneurs. They are found in the all means everyone means they are the biases of the human psychology. They are not biases of the entrepreneur, but the percentage of the entrepreneurs having these biases is very high. And we are going to dwell on why it is so. So the number one bias is confirmation bias. The entrepreneur is so passionate, so focused about his dream, about his vision. So he only listens to the information which confirms his dream and vision and the idea. And he discards the information which is against that particular dream or idea or his passion. So the confirmation bias generally is present with the entrepreneur. So now, as a coach, first you have to see that is whether my client has this particular confirmation bias or not. After confirmation only, you will confirm and you will coach. I'm not saying that is, I'm not making you judgmental, right? I am just giving you that there is a high probability and you need to check is what I am giving you input. So whether my client has a confirmation bias, point number one. The next is the self-serving bias. What is self-serving bias? Especially this is true with the say uh, young entrepreneurs or the people who have just started their entrepreneurship journey. I'm talking about the say period of 0 to 5 years, because entrepreneur also has a say entrepreneurial journey life cycle, right? So they have a self-serving bias, means if anything happens good to the business, they take the credit, whether they say it or not, but they take the credit. And if anything happens back to the business, they blame it on external factors. So the external factor can be market, can be customer, right? Can be some any other thing, or can be even their team members. So this is a self-serving bias which you have to see. Why? Because these biases are ultimately going to harm them, right? So the coach can add value into basically removing these particular biases. 1 minute. So this
This
is a,
is the same as locus of control, right? In a way.
yeah. So this is similar to it. This is all from psychology only. Yes. Then the third bias is planning fallacy. What is this bias? Entrepreneurs always underestimate the time required to complete activity and project. Underestimate, not overestimate, underestimates. And of course, they create pressure in the system because of it. So even if the evidence is there that this particular project will require say 6 months, the entrepreneur will might might believe that okay, the project requires only 3 months, and then entrepreneur will plan accordingly, and then will found that okay, you are not meeting the goal because of the planning fallacy. So you have to see whether your coachee is having this particular planning fallacy, underestimating the time required. Why? Because it has a overall impact on the business. It creates a pressure, stress in the system, employee turnover, and the variety of the other problems, not meeting the commitment of the customers, and then means customers will have a bad impression about your company. So the variety of the things are associated with this particular bias. Another bias is okay. Another bias is that wait. So it has a very interesting name: escalation of commitment. Right. So the escalation of Commitment means I have seen, and what Vikram shared with us, right? So it was related to this escalation of commitment. They are blindly committed to their idea, their product, their service, and their project, right? And that might result into they throwing good money after bad. Means when the you need to stop that particular product or service, you need to sell off the business, and you need to basically change the path, change the direction, but they will not do it. Why? Because entrepreneur has a personal attachment to that particular venture, project, idea, service, product. And because of that personal attachment, right, they might spend much more money or result into a failure, or they not having of that particular business at a right time, right? So these are the very important and the critical biases. So in your assessment, in your understanding the coachee, if the coachee is entrepreneur, you must evaluate whether my coachee is suffering for one or more of these particular biases. And if you can add value into removing those particular biases, in my opinion, as a coach, you will add a great value to a entrepreneurial coaching.